What's up, everybody? It's your girl B, and today's grown folk conversation is centered around divorce and regret. We're gonna listen to this lady cry about her decision, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. And I'm gonna give my perspective as somebody who's been married for 19 years. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I am honestly really sad right now, if you can tell. That's like the weirdest thing about grief is like, didn't cry for 2 days, was good for 2 days, and now I'm by myself, and it's just like the hurricane, like it's here again, you know? It's, the tsunami is back. Like, it's just so hard, and like, I'm frustrated because I, got, my whole world got disheveled, and I feel like he has moved on, and he is healed and moved on and doesn't care about me, which I don't want him to come back into my life, but it still just sucks, I can't imagine, thank you guys for sharing stuff, like stories that you've gotten through this and it's been however many years, because I could not imagine that. I can't imagine being with someone for a really long time and going through this, Sorry if you can hear my cat literally playing in the background. Like, I was only with him for 4.5 years, 1 year married. I could not imagine, though, being with him for longer and this happening, but it's just so sad sometimes, and it's like so hard to have to learn how to do life by yourself again. Like, you don't have that person to call all the time or that best friend to go do things with. And that's what scares me. I've never truly been alone and worked on myself, and I'm terrified of it. Not me crying on the internet more, but I just want to share all of it, the good and the bad, so that I have this to look on a year from now and know that I did heal, but also to help anybody else who's going through heartbreak. Like, heartbreak sucks. It sucks so bad. You like physically feel the pain, emotionally, mentally, everything. And again, I had 2 really, really good days. Did not cry at all those 2 days. And then, as soon as I'm by myself, or as soon as, I do something or something triggers me, it just all comes flooding back. And like, it's just a lot. Grief sucks. This whole thing sucks so bad, and I'm literally praying and thinking about anybody else going through a divorce. I just wanted to talk about the fact that it's okay to sit down and miss the person sometimes, miss the connection you had. I think a lot of the times I try, and I think I'm really strong about what happened to me most of the time, and I think that I haven't cried about my ex in a long time, actually. But today, I just kind of sat down, and this is a holiday I probably would have spent with his family too, and it's okay to just like miss what you had sometimes. Like, I know that we try and tell ourselves like, well, they weren't right for us, or maybe they were a bad person, or maybe they did this, or they did this to you. And like, while I think that's true, and like, I think that you can tell yourself that, I mean, that's like, I try and put on this really, sorry, this is very rambly, but I really did just pick up the camera and start talking. I think what I'm trying to say is that we tell ourselves, or at least I do, if I'm thinking about my ex, I typically am just like, nope, not gonna think about him. Like, we're detaching, you know what I mean? And that works the majority of the time. But sometimes you can just sit down and cry. You can sit down and let out your feelings. And I think people who don't ever cry about the things, or people who don't ever let themselves think about it, like, we have to think about it. We have to feel the things, and that doesn't make you weak. Like, being vulnerable does not make you weak. I really hate when people say that. Because life is all about the human emotions and what we go through. You know what I mean? Like, that is literally life. And I just think that it's okay to just sit down and miss what you had. It's okay to, and that's not even me saying, oh, I miss my ex, I miss blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sometimes I miss having a connection like that where I felt like, oh, I had a person, right? And like I had my person. I miss that for sure, but I think sometimes it's okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to sit. And I think a lot of the times we try and distract, or we try and fill with voids, or we try and move on to the next person. And some days it's okay to just sit, and it's okay to have a cry and get back out there in life.
All right.
Okay, so we heard what they had to say, and I want to give my perspective on it. I want to start off by saying something very harsh. I want to say that most people are selfish, and in life, you don't get an unlimited amount of persons, right? There's not a line of people in life that just come in when it don't work out with the other person and just here's a new person for me. There's a limits on soulmates, if you will. There's limits on people that you're going to truly have a connection with, on people who are going to be truly understanding and love you unconditionally. So I think that it's very premature to just up and divorce somebody, up and end a relationship that you've been in for 3, 4, 5 years, etc. A marriage, thinking you're going to get somebody better. And I think a lot of people have been brainwashed with that mentality to believe that there's something better for me. Oh, I can have another you in a minute, right?
Hell no!
What about the kids? People don't think about that in their decision-making process. What about my children? How it's going to affect my children? And I know some people feel like, oh, you don't make decisions or stay in a relationship for children. However, I disagree with that to an extent, because I feel as though when you bring up children in a 2-parent household, that's their norm. And then when you, without their agreement, when you just snatch that away from them, that causes trauma to our children. But most of us are so consumed with ourselves that we can't overlook some little things about our spouse for the greater good of the entire family unit. Now, another caveat is, going back to the selfishness, a lot of people are looking for perfection in someone else when they lack that within themselves. You want somebody to be perfect and check off everything on your list, and that's not going to happen. We all are familiar with the 80-20 rule. Most of the time you'll get that 80%, and it's that 20 that you may really want, but do you need? And I think that, like I said, I've been married for 19 years. I got married very young. So these are all things that I had to learn and develop and grow with over the years, thanks to my husband, and mostly my husband. I ain't gonna say I had a whole lot of outside influence to help us, just us communicating and me realizing he matters too, right? His feelings matter also, but a lot of us are so stuck on what we want. We don't even factor in our significant others and what they want. Like, for example, a lot of women get mad at men for playing video games. I used to be that woman. And it took me a while to realize that was his thing. If your man get up and he worked 40 hours, what's the big deal if he come home and play a little Call of Duty, play a little 2K? What's the big deal? Because we as women, we have our things. We want to go to Ulta, Sephora, Target, and do our stuff. But then when a man have his way, and it's because it's taking time from us, even though we want our own time away from them too. And we don't want them to have their own life and hobbies and activities outside of us, knowing good and damn well most of us don't want to be bothered with no video game. But I had to learn that that's his way of unwinding. That's his way of de-stressing. So don't be no bitter, nagging wife. Let that man play his video games. Because, like I said, he work his 40 hours. Now, if he ain't working and he played a video game, you got a whole nother problem on your hands, sis. But I want to talk about when the first lady was talking about how the other person healed and moved on and she felt the type of way. A lot of people break up and it be a competition. Who gonna get somebody else first? You don't want them to move on first and heal first. And I think that is so childish. You break up with someone and you worried about them getting another relationship before you, but you don't even want the person.
Nope.
So to me, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a whole lot of divorce. It wasn't all this divorce that we see now. We didn't see this back in the day because people feel like there's just this unlimited dating pool. Like I could easily get someone else, and you may be able to get someone else easily to get into bed with you. But to have that real commitment that you sick, you at your weakest, most vulnerable, and there's that person that's there for you, that's going to ride or die for you, that person who they still love you even when you up and when you down, because a lot of us, we learn that about people. When we down, especially down financially or even health wise, people will turn their backs on you. So having that person that's really going to be there through it all, having all those memories, like I've been with my husband almost 20 years, that bond, that connection, that's not going to be easily duplicated me getting another partner. And then you go cry to the internet telling everybody your business about your regrets and the decisions that you made, when instead of trying to communicate with that person and work it out and stop being so selfish, feeling like you can't let certain things go, certain behavior traits. You know how sometimes how men can be. They're not necessarily the first ones to cook or clean or put away clothes or do laundry, but that's not deal breaker type of stuff. And a lot of us will throw our marriage away because he don't take me out enough. We don't do date nights as much, and just little small things like that that could be communicated and worked out. But I'm gonna end this video here. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about women just throwing away their marriages, just getting divorced like it's a whole line of men, unlimited line for the rest of your life of men who are compatible with you, that you actually want to be with, for you to just throw your man away. And let me just say this, I'm not advocating for staying in any type of abusive relationship. There are some things that can end a marriage that are valid, but for the most part, we just childish, we selfish, and a lot of us have given in to the new way of living, and it's been to our own detriment. But y'all give me a like and a subscribe, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Until then,
Come on, push a button!